Oh, yeah, we back, baby. No, we back.
It's been a while.
I haven't seen you in a while.
I know. I was getting a little...
Not seen a lot of Brooks.
Yeah, I've seen a lot of each other. It's nice to not see Noah, though, but once in a while.
You missed me.
Sometimes I miss you. Most of the time I don't.
Brooks and I even wore same hats today.
That was unintentional, but
No, you
we're
guys
not sponsored by Waggle, and we're certainly not sponsored by Busch Light.
You guys are hat buds.
Brooks texted me last night. They said, "Hey, wear your Waggle hat with the silver paw on it."
Don't tell Jeff. Don't tell Jeff. Look like a dummy. Make Jeff look like an idiot. So, anyways, welcome to the Ruin Podcast. I'm your host, Jeff Holmes, along with Brooks Dunkelberger.
Hello.
And Noah Havel. It's been a while since we've been here. We've been busy. Noah hasn't been doing a whole lot, but the rest of us have been busy.
Yeah.
Getting in fights on golf courses.
I do that.
Arguments.
Yeah.
Heated arguments.
It was close.
Hey, but speaking of golf courses, we actually fared pretty well on the tournament that we had. I think the last time that we ran a podcast, we were going to a tournament that day.
Leaving that day.
Yeah.
And we succeeded our expectations.
I think we finished at 6 under. Thankfully, we had what was called a grenade, which is just pick the ball up and throw it at the hole, and Jeff canned it to take us to 6 under.
Yeah.
So he was able to look like a hero at the end of the day.
Naturally, he is a hero. And I'm just talking to the third person now. But, yeah, naturally he is a hero. But, no, golf tournament was fun. Rusty and them guys in Langenberg, supposedly finishing, 15 under or something like that.
I heard them bring in their scorecard, and they were trying to justify the scores. They're like, man, we teed off in here. We won this thing.
Yeah.
I swear to God, we didn't cheat at all. We did it right.
That's the thing about a scramble is you can't really trust anybody's scores, especially on the back side, because everybody's drunk by then. And
Yeah.
But we were honest. And,
Way through.
Yeah.
Let's talk about...
I think we did all
Didn't
right.
fib at all.
No.
No fibbing.
How about our burrito experiences, Brooks?
So we had extra burritos.
So you did.
Yeah.
You didn't steal any strokes, but you stole some extra.
He was
burritos.
carrying them out of there like a football.
I told Brooks, I'm like, after they served us lunch, those burritos are damn good. I'm like, hey, Brooks, how about a burrito for the golf cart?
Yeah.
These things were 1,000 degrees.
He's like, well, if you get one, give me one. So I'm up there, and the lady's looking at me because she just saw me 5 minutes ago. And I got these 2 burritos that are burning the shit out of my hands. And I run back to our golf cart, throw them in, and we took off. About hole number 9.
So needless to say, you guys represented the company very well.
I mean,
And
part of the course. I didn't know they were stolen. I just ate the burrito that he gave me.
So you're a victim in this crime too.
I am. I really am.
So, Noah just left. Oh, just getting another beer there. That's all right.
For free, so.
Just like them beers. So yeah, we fared pretty well on the golf course.
Yeah, I was proud of our effort there.
We got another one coming up, and we still haven't figured out Tehya Cam yet. That was supposed to be figured out, Tehya. But Tia's going to be our partner in the one in July, and I'm excited about that.
And then there's the American Foundry Society that we...
Oh, you guys
should
doing
sort
that?
out. I don't know. It's July 13th, I think. We were going to talk to Tehya about it. We haven't had a chance to, but might be that's one.
Does Thomas golf?
Pair up.
There you go.
So we'll have to talk about the schedule on that. I don't know if we have anything on the 13th or not.
It's a Saturday morning one.
It's at Burns. It's here in town.
Yeah. Irv Warren, for those of you that are too young to know what Burns is, but
Irv Warren
Memorial
at Burns Park.
Brian Matson, which none of you, well, you guys know, but the audience doesn't know, we nicknamed West High's practice football field Jeff Holmes Memorial. And I've been trying to put a
But you're not dead.
Is that where all your dreams went?
I mean, you're still here, man.
That's the ironic part about it is we're just...
That's just where all Jeff's dreams went to die.
Yeah,
right
pretty
there.
much.
I did we'll get to football, it looks like, on here, but I did do an interview at halftime where I mentioned my senior stats of
You said 2 catches, 7 yards. That was awesome.
And that was the end of my football day.
I was surprised at how well you did in that interview.
Yeah, well, thank you.
Catches for 7 yards. Would you run backwards?
Yeah. I think we completed a total of like 6 passes the entire year, so.
My senior year, the only game we won, we did not complete a pass. Only school in Grinnell history, or only team in Grinnell history to do that.
I mean, in this area, the West High is notorious for sucking shit at athletics. So
Athletics is a strong term. We've never had a great football program.
I mean, have you had a great.
We smoke you guys in basketball usually.
I mean, in the 90s, you had a pretty good golf team.
Early 90s, we were state champs in baseball, but that's going back 30 years. I don't think Cedar Falls has ever been a state champ at basketball. Or baseball, excuse me.
Not baseball, but
that's
we've done it in wrestling time and time.
We dominated all in wrestling, too.
That's never happened.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe in an off year for us that's happened, but typically
weird that every
we're
year's
the
an off
dominant
year.
program.
Every year's an off.
It's not.
Speaking of wrestling getting beat up, your girl Caitlin Clark just been getting the shit kicked out of her.
You know,
in the league.
It's a bummer to see it. It feels like she's been rejected.
Yeah, they don't
for some reason. Like they don't want her there. You know, and all these girls are talking trash about her, but the reality is she's the reason these arenas are selling out.
It's part of the script. It's going to be a Cinderella story.
Exactly.
It's
so
fake, just like every other sport, right?
If I was her, I'd put double middle fingers in the air to the WNBA.
Oh, would you?
Yeah.
Would you do that?
And then walk out.
you just walk, huh?
Yeah.
She can make twice, if not 3 times as much money doing anything else.
I think it's
Not a money thing for her.
Right, and I think the endorsements that she's getting are worth quite a bit more than whatever her salary is.
Before we go on the air, you just got done telling me a story, and you are the cheapest person I know by far. And I wish I had that about me. I do love you for that. However, you won $800 in the golf tournament, and you spent most of it on a bar tab.
It's an expensive bar tab.
So I don't think you're allowed to say that.
We lost money
Good
playing
money.
some idiots.
You know, it'd be great if you were throwing money around when we were at the bar.
Yeah, it never happens that
Because
way.
it's never happened.
You guys just don't catch me at the right time.
I guess not.
We'll have to catch you outside.
Because it's only when you win $800 do you actually buy rounds of drinks.
Well, yeah, everybody was asking too. They're like, "Oh, you got all this money now?" I'm like, "Yeah, I do." Well, everybody at this tournament wasn't drinking except for me and my caddy. He just kept coming out with like these vodka pink lemonades, and they were doubles. And I'm like, "Dude, they're like $10 a piece." He didn't realize.
What? Do you not know what to drink on the golf course? We had this discussion last time we were on the podcast.
Yeah, it's...
I did. I mean,
You didn't get any bullfrogs, did you?
I don't want to explain to some of these bartenders how to make it is a thing.
I'll
but it's
give you
really
that.
just vodka limeade.
That's really all it is.
Yeah,
But
they could fuck up the water.
even even the tournament we were in, we had bullfrogs.
Yeah, they make them a little bit different, but
yeah.
they're still good. They
were
still taste
delicious.
right.
Yeah.
And I'm going that's the best golf cocktail.
The bullfrog is by far the best golf
Salty
cocktail.
dog would be the close second. Not
If
close,
it's
but
a
second.
morning, yeah, I'm with you there. If it's a morning thing, then Bloody Marys are pretty good as a golf cocktail.
They made me a transfusion at Sunnyside, but instead of grape juice, they used cranberry juice. Wasn't bad, just a little more tang to it.
I can't get around the name of the transfusion yet.
I think it's because it looks like
It sounds like you're either getting blood taken or put into you, and
it looks like blood.
I'm not really familiar with the drink. I think I tried a sip of yours, and it's pretty good, but I just haven't
fuck it
committed yet.
a big shout out to Bud Fields for being on the team too.
Yeah,
that was a good time.
Bud.
Yeah,
That's a great dude.
That was awesome.
He makes everything more fun.
A little bit better, doesn't he?
Yeah, he does.
Except when he brings fishing poles and worms to a golf tournament.
He did.
Bud left some night crawlers out in the sun. Had to leave the golf course for a moment to go put the crawlers in the shade.
And then we were on the turn, and he had
People think we're gonna make this shit up. This. I'm telling you, everything we've said so far is very factual.
he had to go check on his night crawlers at the turn, where most people get a hot dog. He's over there digging through his night crawlers,
Making sure they're still moving
moist.
around. Yeah. So, but golf tournament was, I don't know how you segue out of that. Golf tournament was great. We had a good time there. We've been busy doing football stuff, so we've been off for a week or two. But since then, last time we were on, we talked about Mr. Scheffler getting arrested. That was that morning? I think it was that morning.
Right, and like we said that morning, the charges are going to be dropped, and they were dropped.
They were. His mugshot was one of the best things of all time.
And what's great about it is all the other players shitting on him for it.
Yeah.
I've seen a lot of different Twitter posts or X posts about, side-by-side pictures of Scotty and some other hardened criminal. And I think the social media stuff was the funniest part of the whole deal. And rightly so, the charges were dropped.
You knew the internet was going to take its course.
Yep.
After that happened.
Always does.
Nature always does, doesn't it?
It does do that.
Nature takes its course. So,
And he's ice cold. He didn't miss a beat.
nope.
Didn't he birdie the first hole? after coming.
I think he finished top 10 still.
Yeah, he did.
It was like Scotty Scheffler goes to jail, warms up in a jail cell, birdies the first hole.
Yeah.
There's a lot of that going on for sure. So, other sporting events, people have been asking about the football team, so we can just touch on base. Not the result we wanted in our first week down in Springfield with the Ozarks, but I think we'll be back. I think
And
we'll be around.
guys, for anybody that doesn't know, we're talking about the Arena League, which is a new arena football organization. Our local team here, owned by Jeff and Julia, is the Iowa Woo, and they faced off against the Lunkers this past week. And yeah, it's a bummer that we didn't come away with a win, but I think we were close. I think we're
4 or 5 plays away from it
Right.
being the right way.
right. So I think there's just a couple of missing pieces, but I think we're going to get there. I think the coaching staff seems to be solid. It's just a couple little players.
Weird game, too. It's 6-on-6, which is a cool new thing. But yeah, players are going to play.
They got to play. They can't show up and not play.
That's right. They got to play when they're there.
They're going all out.
Yeah.
I was going to say, they probably don't get a break like when you're playing 11 on 11.
Right. No, it's
You're going to depend on some more people, but
Nobody's taking any plays off.
No, and also some of them play both ways too. That's kind of the idea with the league and all that stuff. So, also, I thought it'd be important for you to know that Wacky has showed up.
the mascot.
Wacky,
The
Wacky finally came.
here. Mascot's going to be in action against the Kansas City Goats on Saturday.
You want to get in there?
I'll get in the goats mascot. That'd be cool. So fucking people.
I haven't seen their mask. I don't know if they got.
I haven't seen it yet either.
Better be with Billy Goat.
But
I think this game is going to be awesome because it's during, we have a local celebration called My Waterloo Days, so we're kind of in the fold with the My Waterloo Days celebration. We expect a pretty big turnout for it, and I think that we're going to come away with a win.
Saturday.
Yeah, Saturday.
2 p.m. now
It's the only day game on the schedule, right?
for the entire league.
Right.
Let's go to a wedding.
You don't have to.
Who does weddings? Heck, that just
You.
ruins your
You just did a wedding.
You just did a wedding.
It's about a year ago.
How's it going so far?
It's fine. I had to put a sink in this morning before I came here. So that's fun.
Did you have to cut the countertop for it?
No, dude, I just had to put a new faucet in. That big.
So faucet.
So she's not running you ragged.
No, she does most of everything.
Should we do marriage updates? I'm sure she'd be real proud of that. So, Chelsea's an absolute sweetheart. I don't know why she puts up with no.
It's hard to believe that anybody would.
Right, but we do it.
But thanks to Chelsea for doing that, because Jesus, she's got to be the only one on earth.
That's probably true.
It's our new segment, Scrap Wives.
Scrap wife.
Be a reality show.
That'd be
like,
a great reality show.
Man, just imagine.
Imagine Mac just like snapping her fingers at people.
Yeah, but
getting all
Mac
sassy.
can't count because she's in the scrapyard.
Yes.
So Julia can't really either. So it's gonna be Chelsea, Buffy.
Yeah, it kind of has to be outside the scrap.
Yeah, okay.
We
still think Mac-
Do you remember Driver Danny from Waterloo?
Yeah.
Remember his wife?
Oh, yeah, she's cool.
Yeah,
I'd be scared of her, but
she'd be
she's
a
cool.
good one.
Well, Danny White's wife. That's what you're talking about. Danny White's wife. I'm talking about Danny Sanderson's wife.
No, I was thinking of Danny White's wife.
She's related to Jerry.
Oh, perfect.
Yeah. Bring that.
Who's related to Jerry? Sherry?
No, Danny Sanderson's.
Oh, all right.
Danny Sanderson's the Baylor out.
Tia's also related to Jerry. Just for the record.
Everybody is related to Jerry somehow.
He's got the same forehead.
Yeah,
Oh,
you
man.
resemble Jerry.
That was way mean. You just got an eagle thrown at you.
It happens.
So, anyways, let's roll this back into scrap, should we?
Yeah, we
That's
should
what this
talk
is supposed to be
scrap
about.
at some
So,
point.
Ferris markets suck.
Yeah, what's the deal?
Do you want to talk any more about it, or should we just leave it at that?
No, I just wonder what the deal is.
I don't think it's China necessarily. I am a little surprised that we're seeing as much downturn as we have seen over the last 4 or 5 months. I figured an election year that would turn around, but you got to start building stuff again. So
Yeah,
usually
what's
you
the
get
driver
nice
for it? I mean, we see our biggest employer in this area is pretty much packing up and rolling out in John Deere, right? So is that?
Yeah, I mean, I would say they're pretty cyclical, though, and it might be a 2 or 3 year cycle, but they, and then they'll come back, and then it kind of is a never-ending cycle, I guess.
Yeah,
for lack of a better term. So,
I know that it's cyclical like that, but you got to wonder, like, is production so far down that that's going to keep us down, and for how long?
sure. Yeah, and I don't have a great answer outside of our area of why that is, but, obviously we're in the Midwest here based on the Chicago market, and that's kind of the driving force of scrap prices. Mm-hmm. And so I think you're seeing that come to fruition.
Well, and let me ask you, is there typically a correlation between ferrous and non-ferrous? Because right now it seems like they've gone complete opposite direction.
Well, I was going to bring that up. Not today. We're getting blown up on copper right now. Yeah. So since yesterday, copper's down 16 cents.
So it was still over $4, but getting close to the $4 threshold.
Yeah. Well, 453 is what it's at this moment. So, we're getting to, speaking of which, let's get some stuff out whenever you're ready.
What do you want to send?
Anything you got?
I got everything.
You got it all?
I'm waiting.
You've been waiting on me?
Yeah.
All right. Deal.
You just don't call me back no more.
So, but yeah, we've been blessed to get a lot of our orders lined up already, waiting for the market to fall. Like I said, we as a first generation scrapyard have to skip a lot of the holding on to material and stuff like that. There's a few items that we play around with, but I think you'll start seeing a lot of guys start holding big tons back.
Yeah.
Just enough to cover cash flow and payroll and things like that. And you'll then start hopefully seeing these go up into the fall here. And I wouldn't be surprised if you do see an uptick before the election. So, I mean, we're now worried about the border. So, this isn't a political show, so let's stay away from that a little bit.
That's a good idea.
Yeah, but now.
Speaking of politics, you ever seen Brooks get fired up on Facebook?
No.
Can I say this, Brooks?
You can say whatever you want.
Brooks just roasts people in his Facebook comments. He doesn't give a fuck if it's his mom and his brother. He just roasts people.
Look, sometimes
I texted him. I'm like, dude, you're just roasting people on public Facebook here.
Brooks Dunkelberger Facebook page.
Sometimes you just gotta. I get to a point where these people are just hammering about the same topics. It's like lighting a fuse, right? I can't help myself.
Are you really even engaged in the topic, or do you just like making people feel really shitty?
I feel like I'm engaged in the topic as much as any other American, right? But at some point, you just got to tell people to shut the fuck up.
He did a few times.
I mean, there's no way around it.
How many accounts does your mother have?
My mom has 3 or 4 Facebook accounts. I think 2 of them are active, and maybe another 2 are operated by bots.
He was telling me that. He goes, she just forgets her password, so she just starts a new account.
Oh yeah.
It's like 11 Facebook accounts.
Yeah, I'll go over to her house and try to help her with tech stuff, and wind up just setting up a new Facebook page because it's just too far gone to save. And so now my mom's floating around out there on the internet, 3 or 4 different accounts, like I said, and who knows who's operating those things. Some kind of Russian bot farm has seized my mom's online identity.
So,
and I don't think she's alone in that. I think that...
See, my mother's the opposite way. She's like, she can tell you more about Facebook than I can.
Yeah, well,
on Facebook though.
I don't.
I think a lot of women and a lot of people in that age group just give up and start over with their online presence. And so many people in that age group, I have multiple accounts. I'm friends with a bunch of them, and they've got 3 or 4 fucking accounts. Just what are you doing exactly? Recover the first one. Put some effort into it.
I've had the same Facebook account since I was like 9.
Yeah, but you grew up on it though. Like,
that was like the thing.
It's just disturbing that you were 9 when Facebook came out. Isn't it?
I feel like as my 9-year-old, I wouldn't want him on.
And Jeff bailed on Facebook a long time ago.
But I think my name's attached to because you have to have a name on it.
I think it's Holmes Jeff.
Is it? So we got this message from a former employee that was really trying to get a hold of Jerry. And I thought it came to you. I don't know if you saw that or not. It said, give this to... Tell Jerry to call me at this number. it's really urgent, and there's no way anything that could have come positive out of this. I did tell Jerry about it. Anyways, last night, the part of the story you guys don't know is we got another message that says, thanks for your help. You're really neat. Because this guy obviously didn't get contacted by Jerry, so he was...
He's mad.
I think
now.
he said, you're awesome. I think is what it was. Thanks for, you're really awesome, or something like that. So, but yeah, so.
I mean, all you can do is pass along the message.
I did.
Jerry,
It's up to Jerry to figure out.
It's up to Jerry.
Jerry's got to figure out his own social calendar. I can't do that for him. But
The irons in the fire everywhere.
as we've talked about, this social media, I think, is becoming more and more important. I even think our company needs to put a better, well, I'll just use you and me, Brooks, as kind of the sales and the purchasing of the company. Like, it's a good way to maybe start incorporating some of those conversations. You know, we're a bit more traditional here in the Midwest than maybe, you know,
California.
California. I was going to say any coast, but yeah, we can pick on California if you want to, but messaging through, I mean, we do some stuff through LinkedIn, customer base wise, but
I think LinkedIn is getting pretty important these days. It seems to be like the only social media that you can utilize from a perspective of professional life or work. So,
right.
LinkedIn is something that we should focus more on. I think I'm kind of green with LinkedIn. I'm trying to sort of learn the ropes, but yeah, it's definitely useful, and it's awesome to see everybody on LinkedIn posting their, you know, work-related stuff. There's a lot of people that are pretty active on there.
Yeah, and I think you're also seeing with this big push with Isri rebranding to Rima is the understanding of our industry a lot more too. You know, it's not, you know, as I saw Mr. Sacco this morning say, it's not waste. You know, he was talking about a John Deere tractor. Actually, he said this isn't made out of waste. This is, you know, made out of recycled materials, which is kind of an important distinction because, you know, you hear the term I'm out junking. That's what Jerry likes to say. We're junking. We've been talking about Jerry a lot today. So, but I'm out junking. And understanding that that's just the way he says it, but it is important to know that companies like ours are very important to the economy. And it's
absolutely,
not just,
and the reason that these guys that are out junking are able to do that is because this material's got value.
Right.
You know, there's guys that do that day in and day out. That's their career.
Yep.
They drive around a truck and trailer. Some of them have a torch rig in their truck.
Yeah.
And they're cutting up scrap and they're hauling it to the yard for recycling. So it's not junk. It's what everything's made of, and that's one thing that John has been sort of an advocate for is, you know, this stuff isn't garbage. You know, we need to, especially now in the spirit of this sort of green movement, we need to put an emphasis on recovering material to make into new product.
Absolutely. That's actually a great segue because, Brooks, I don't know why this was your problem, but it got put on you. We passed our city inspection.
No.
With flying colors.
You know what? Last year, we had like 10, 12 items on the list.
Right.
I had to rent fucking lifts, and I was doing all kinds of shit. But this year, not a single
Not
thing.
a single one. We were really concerned they were going to, speaking of Jerry, they were going to make us put a sprinkler system inside of Jerry's office, but they forego that. So you passed yours, too. You don't really get a city one, though.
Inspection?
Well, you just get that's my point. You just made it for me. We get a city one in Waterloo.
Yeah, we get a fire at
Look at all your exit signs and shit like that too, don't they?
Yeah.
They have to be lit.
It's the fire marshal, it's a city inspector,
Right.
like they check the fence and all that stuff. You're kind of out in no man's land, so you don't necessarily get that. Yeah. But you are on a first name basis with the DNR guy.
Yeah, a few of them.
Not for anything we've done wrong, just because you pals.
Yeah, we're good friends.
Yeah. Yeah.
No, I think really though it's a testament to how we operate at Push. Like we've sort of changed things up there in the last year or so and made it more important to sort of, you know, live within the guidelines of what these people set forth. And I think that we've done a good job over the last year keeping things maintained and keeping things up to date.
Yeah, and I also think you're starting to see we've talked about on this program before, a lot of regulation that's put on recycling facilities or scrap yards, if you want to call them that. Recycled materials. What should we call them? Let's come up with a name of them.
Recycled materials is fine.
No, but like, what's a scrap yard? Because they don't want us using scrap or junk anymore.
Right. So a
Recycling facility
would be a recycling facility.
Yeah, there's
Maybe a
multiple different-
processing
I don't like
facility.
that. Recycled materials agency.
Now we're starting to sound like the CIA or something.
Right. So, anyways, this article looks like it's from My Bellingham Now. I was just doing a little research, and there was multiple ones, but this one stood out to me that in Bellingham, Washington, a final shipment has left ABC Recycling. So there must have been a port there. The gist of this is that there was a port there. They gave until June 30th. The kind of city voted to. I think we may have even
We touched on this in a previous episode, and they've essentially shut the place down.
Yeah, so it's weird to think that in this day and age, because especially a private sector company, and I don't know if that is true of ABC. I don't know if they're private or public, but just in this day and age, it's really hard to just remove somebody from what they're doing. And so, but the city got together, it looks like, and kind of said, we don't want this, around here anymore.
That's the unfortunate thing about, nobody likes regulations, right? But at the end of the day, it makes you better as a company. And the government obviously has this, what we could call overreach in their ability to shut a place down if they don't like how you're operating. So that's why it's so important to keep up with these rules and regulations. No matter whether you like them or not, we can all have this disdain for these things, but we still have to keep up with...
they're in place for a reason.
Right. Yeah. They're in place for a reason, and we don't have a choice. So we have to make the best of it and make sure to stay on top of that stuff every year.
Yeah, so this just says that... they moved their last shipment out, it looks like, on Monday, June 3rd. Looks like a barge. Or I'm sorry, they got it. They started loading it Monday. It'll ship out Monday the 10th before being delivered to a smelter in Bangladesh. So there's that. You got that going for you, Brooks. If you get on that boat, you can go to Bangladesh.
I'd like to go to Bangladesh, but not with
ABC's a Canadian recycling company, and they had until June 30th to remove everything from the Bellingham waterfront. So I think you're going to start seeing more of that. Like I said, I think you hit it right on the head. We can have disdain for these folks all we want to, or these agencies, but there's a reason they're in place.
Yeah, I mean,
you got
over a barrel here,
right.
And we got to comply or die, and that's what it is.
Yeah. Speaking of environmental stuff, you just got destroyed.
Yeah.
Noah was flooded out for pretty much a week.
That's the perks of being a river town, I guess.
Is that a river?
Called Kellogg a river town?
There's a river that...
I mean, that's a
Is it a
creek.
river or a creek?
It doesn't even matter.
What's the name?
It's a river.
Skunk River.
Skunk River.
Yeah.
But not even that river itself flooded out, which it did. But every single waterway in the county flooded out and took out houses and businesses.
How much rain did you get down there in a span of a week?
It didn't start, so we had a few 3-inch rains early in the week, and then the big one hit at 3 a.m. and it rained 7-8 inches in a span of 4 hours, which flooded everything.
So you got over a foot of rain in a week.
Yeah.
That's insane.
We're also at the bottom of the valley there in Kellogg, so
We took everybody's water.
So it just turned the scrapyard into a pond.
Yeah. Luckily,
you see pictures of it?
I saw pictures. I was looking at the
Camera
surveillance. Yeah.
and luckily Noah did a good job of rescuing everything he could. But my favorite was I just get a random picture of our diesel tank just floating around. But
I had a little John boat that got scrapped. So I'm like, this is what it was made to be for.
old Gilligan over here is just taking off the sea.
I didn't know that propane tanks got really lightweight in water because the gas inside of them. So propane tanks just went soaring down the river. So I'm out there paddling my John boat.
For any environmental people watching this, we've accounted for everything and nothing has leaked.
Correct.
Now
Our
we're
fence-
draining some stuff now because
we can't use our
diesel fuel. And
I couldn't believe how high the water got on those tubs sitting out back.
Yeah, it overflowed them.
Yeah.
Filled them up. And then it got up to the truck scale, which is crazy.
Yeah, that's wild. Well, did it
And now
clean
there's
the
a
truck
tornado
scale out
coming
for
through.
you?
So we're all,
What?
Did it clean the truck scale out for you?
No, it
Maybe you don't have to do that job
left
anymore.
so much mud now that it sprinkles outside. You just walk through mud everywhere.
Yeah.
so you have to get under that scale and clean it again.
Probably.
System works.
Does Washburn do tests, or is this a real?
This is a tornado. This is a
Yeah,
twister.
don't they
coming
not do that
suck
to
us
the
up.
15th here in the Midwest?
I don't know.
It's June 5th, so we're all toast and
Some rednecks out there hit the button.
yeah, do it again. I can hear it from my house. So, but yeah, Noah did a great job of getting everything cleaned up. We didn't have that problem. Pause. We didn't have that problem. Tia thinks that's hilarious. Tia's keeled over. We didn't have that problem in Waterloo. We got a lot of rain, but we are contained a little bit there. So
Yeah, it was a bummer to see what happened in Kellogg, but you know, you got to suck it up and recover, Noah.
yeah,
I recovered in a day.
get your trucks
You're gonna
out.
start pumping. Pause.
I think I matched pitch there. That was pretty good. But yeah, we getting all of our materials out so we can keep thriving going into June and thriving on the slow markets. But yeah, I just want to say good job, buddy.
Luckily, we didn't lose any equipment.
Or people.
Or people.
Javon's still there.
That's what's made.
I'm just saying no, not like that. He just I don't know your new guys yet. I haven't met them.
Oh, gotcha.
Does Stephanie's still in the office? She floated away. And you had raccoons.
I did.
You've had a busy 2 weeks.
I had raccoon fall through the ceiling,
Where out?
and then I had babies fall through the other ceiling.
And you just ate them, right?
Well, I got them out. I put them in the forest, so they're probably dead.
You put them in the stew.
Pause.
Yeah, the joy of nature. Well, that's not really nature, unless it's an actual tornado.
It's a man-made siren.
Yeah.
God made that.
He created the folks that didn't make it. So.
I can't believe all the tornadoes. Like, you can't get a rain this spring without there being a tornado.
True dat.
Right.
This horn has completely thrown us off our game, and it's continued, which makes me also think that this might be real.
Pause.
Let's see if it comes back.
But the all right, we back.
We should act.
And we're out. We're gonna have to edit the horn out. No, it's gone now.
I can still hear it.
It's winding down. All right, there might be some editing work there.
Yeah, so you got done playing Crocodile Dundee,
Yep.
Rescuers Down Under. You guys in your John boat, just fishing around for scrap.
Yeah.
Do we have all the scrap back in the yard?
I can see in the park there is just a steel barrel laying out there.
Go get it. What are you doing?
I don't know if it's mine, so I'm not getting it. But no, it's funny though.
The reason that town hates us.
The county, like everybody's stuff from north of us, floated down into us, so they had to wait for the ground to dry so they can go get like their propane tanks and stuff.
So maybe we acquired some
Did
scrap.
we get any stuff?
I don't know if we got any stuff, but
Did we lose some stuff?
not as much as you'd think. We got it pretty much back right before it flooded.
Yeah, you had a fence blowout you put back together.
Yeah, the fence was the worst.
But
Which side? Where? What part of the fence?
The south fence where the sheet iron pile is, that all went. Bam. And then we stood it back up, and there's probably hundreds of snakes underneath it, so that was cool. So I was wrestling snakes as I'm screwing a fence together.
we got baby raccoons.
Yeah, we got these
Start
screws,
calling you
though.
Steve Irwin.
We got screws that are like this long plowed through the fence that we found in the scrap. So who really lost here?
Long strut and screws for.
To go into the rotten poles that are in there.
Wow.
I mean, we could just fix the fence.
Yeah, that's gonna happen at some point, but that's gonna be a pretty big undertaking.
Apparently, flood insurance is like not eligible in that town either.
Yep.
Yeah,
So-
you can't get flood insurance in areas where it floods.
No, they say that's a no flood zone. Well, apparently the houses north of Kellogg have flooded twice now, and they still can't get it. Like, that's insane.
Insurance is awesome at collecting money if they just suck at paying it out.
Right. And they will insure only things that are not likely to happen.
we actually have, and this is a great segue. We're going to talk about copper here a little bit, but we actually have a load that was heisted from us.
What's going on with that?
We haven't heard from the insurance company yet, so
they're investigating.
several tens of thousands of dollars just hanging out until they figure it out. So
I wonder where it ended up.
don't know.
Probably in a shipping container.
No,
It's probably overseas by now.
or another scrapyard. We actually probably bought it back. knowing how that's gone,
We're gonna have to put
probably
like
what
a
happened.
Apple AirTag in all of our loads now.
Yeah, remember we did that with the
The
box. We thought it was
box.
catalytic converter material. Remember we had that big air conditioner.
Oh, yeah.
It's still in your warehouse somewhere, I think. Probably. I get no.
I saw a story about a dude who lost his bike. His bike was stolen, and he parks it in the same place every day. Like goes to school somewhere. I can't remember what town it was in. So he took a different bike there, and he put an air tag down on the seat post and put the seat back on. And then when that one got stolen a couple days later, he went to where the air tag was, and it's this warehouse full of fucking bikes. He said there was thousands of bikes in there. And so they sent the cops there, and the cops busted this big bike theft ring. But speaking of catalytic converters, I saw a meme yesterday.
Was that the end of the bike story?
Yeah, that's the end of the bike story. The cops came down, busted this bike theft ring. But the catalytic converter deal was it was a meme that I saw. Said Kid Rock was donating the proceeds of his last show to Donald Trump's campaign. It's $413 in cash, 14 catalytic converters, and some Sudafed. It was hilarious.
You had me. I was gonna say he only made $413.
Yeah, $413 cash, a bunch of cats, and some Sudafed.
Yeah. This was an article from Recycling Today talking about Copper's Wild Ride. This is actually a week old now, but let's see, the tagline here, this would have been from a week ago today, said that COMEX copper futures price dropped by 36 cents on Wednesday and then rebounded. And it says Goldman Sachs predicts a rebound after that. So copper's been on just a tear lately.
Yeah.
And it's, to your point earlier, traditionally they kind of do follow each other, both ferrous and non-ferrous.
Yeah.
Maybe not.
But you've seen a split here that's kind of weird.
Yeah, ferrous has just been getting killed over the last 5 to 6 months, and not non-ferrous though, and that's true of aluminum and stainless steel too as well. So we're seeing an uptick on people bringing stuff in.
Well, who's the end user when you sell a load? Where does it go?
We sell it to multiple different people, so it's a lot of mill direct stuff. We've been blessed to develop some of those relationships, but we do some exporting. We sell to some.
What do you
folks
think the percentage is that stays in the States is?
On the non-ferrous stuff, I would say probably all of our aluminum stays 100% domestic. Probably true of stainless steel as well. It depends on the item, you know what I mean? Sure. So like you're going to have like a lot of electric motors that end up, whether it's direct from us or through, a third party, go into a shipping container somewhere.
And is that because they can pay for labor to process?
Probably some of it. The truth is, I'm not an expert on that part of it, but you see some, bigger copper mills and stuff like that in China, and things like that. So, I mean, we've got one here that's in Iowa that is a copper mill, and they've told us that, that a lot of their purchasing comes from the coast. So I don't know if they're buying it cheaper from overseas somewhere, and it's cheaper to do that here. But you would think the market's the market, especially on a global stage like that. But, if you only have half a penny into processing something versus 2 or 3, 4, et cetera, that's going to drive the market that way for sure. So, yeah, I mean, you've seen, and you've actually had a lot of new people start too. So I'm sure that you're going through some of the growing pains of training those folks on how to put certain items into the right bin and things like that, and not all aluminum can just be junk shop or what Sebastian called it, A-line iron and breakage. We just call everything. We're just calling everything breakage from now on and putting it in here. So, but yeah, I think you'll hopefully continue to see metals, be strong. when we just hope that the Ferris market can follow that. And so maybe this next story gets us there. So there is a report saying that Cleveland Cliffs is negotiating buying another Russian-based mill called NLMK, which is in Indiana, which kind of affects us here in the Midwest. So we do some stuff with Cleveland Cliffs now, and this would just add to that relationship a little bit. We also have done a lot of stuff with NLMK through some brokers and things like that too. But yeah, you're getting excited to see. And I wonder at what point do you start seeing more regulation put on those guys where there can't be so many of the giant mills around and things like that, you know?
Right. It seems like that stuff has relaxed a little bit, you know, so it's kind of gone the other direction, which is interesting because you wouldn't expect that, especially with the current administration. You typically, when we're in a democratic period in our political sort of climate, we see regulations heightened a little bit, things tightened up, and then when we go the other way, things start to relax. But in this case, it seems like regulations on these big mills have not necessarily tightened up that much.
Do you think that is and I think we're getting far enough away from the COVID pandemic, and whatever your opinion is of that is irrelevant, but the truth of the matter is when that happened, we saw wages for labor go up. We saw people not wanting to work as much. You know, are you thinking that the relax on regulations is more an effect of that? Because obviously government agencies can't tell people, hey, you can't work.
It's kind of
type thing.
It's kind of we know that economically regulations are kind of pumping the brakes, right? So I think that it would have been a bad move coming out of the pandemic to go heavy on new regulations and stuff, because obviously we need to be full throttle. You know, we barely made it out of that thing, and some industries are never going to come back from it. So yeah, I think it was probably a result of that. I think you're right. It's just that we can't continue to pile on these companies. We got to at some point let them go sort of full throttle until we can make this recovery that we're trying to make.
And you can make the argument too that the more regulation you have, the less innovation you have and things like that.
Absolutely.
People experiment and get better at what they do and all that stuff. I tend to laugh at folks now who say, well, you know, because of COVID, I'm now today not able to do X, Y, and Z. Like, you know, to me, that's an excuse-driven facet more than anything else. With that being said, like I just said earlier, our labor wages have increased probably by 30 to 40% since, you know, COVID happened, and we struggle to get people in the door now. So
right. Well, and
that's the first time in probably 3 years that you've had more than 3 people at that scrapyard working with you.
I think so, yeah.
So, you know, that's obviously we've got some different plans for your facility and things like that are going to hopefully continue to grow that there and make it kind of more focused than what it has been a typical consumer or recycled materials agency.
Recycled materials.
Do you not like that yet?
RMA. I like it.
Do you like it?
Yeah. It's got a ring to it. It's not as bad as the junkyard or the scrapyard.
Yeah. What
Agent Brooks?
And I don't know if I like the agency. We need another what were the levels in GoldenEye called? Like there were some cool ones there, like
in the
facility, yeah, and
something syndicate,
yeah. There we go. I like that.
Yeah,
recycled materials syndicate.
Yeah. Syndicate would be a good.
But no, I think we got to get away from the excuse part and continue to make things and build things, and that's really the driving force. Whether it's roads or buildings or hospitals or whatever, we need to.
Yeah, I think we're done crying about it, and at this point, we got to just get back out there and get the work done.
So, needless to say that this is a Recycling Today article. I should have mentioned that earlier. Looks like Brian Taylor was the author, but it looks like they are reporting on what Bloomberg has reported, that Cleveland Cliffs is looking to acquire NLMK. So we'll keep an eye on that and see how that will affect us moving forward. So.
Yeah, and so we want to see American expansion. We want to start buying up companies that are owned by foreign entities. So that's always a plus.
And you have a lot of insight on that, right?
Yeah, it's like a Monopoly game. Buy them all up.
Well, reverse. Yeah, sort of monopoly in reverse. They bought all of us up in the 80s and 90s, and now we're hopefully going to be able to take it back.
Noah's just trying to collect $200 by
Let me pass go.
Pass go. So, but yeah, that kind of wraps up the show for today, guys. It's great to see you again.
Yeah.
Next week, Tehya Cam. Can we get Tehya Cam done by next week? She mouse whispered, sure.
Yeah. All it takes is a phone, and or even just your front-facing camera.
You got a GoPro
on your. Oh yeah, we're gonna do it on your computer.
Or we can strap the GoPro. We can put one of those hats on you that puts the GoPro right in your face.
Yeah, it'd just be you upside down.
So yeah, next week we promise our producer is going to be.
Yeah. Are you excited about it, Tehya?
She's not excited, but she will be.
Yeah.
No, I think more people will tune in if they get to hang out with Tehya than us. So, all right, guys. Well, thanks. We'll see you next week.
Guys. See ya.
Boom! Hey, everybody. Thank you for watching the Ruin Podcast this week. Stay up to date with us at www.ruinpod.com. We also have some advertising opportunities available. Just shoot us an email at info@ruinpod.com. And to the greatest industry in the world, sometimes you just got to get out and smell that success, baby.